CORONAPOCALYPSE.
Oh yeah. It's a terrible set.
Jesus, man. You got some fucking Gene Simmons hair going on. Hold on. Oh, fuck. Fuck, motherfuck, fuck.
What? What's going on?
Oh, I'm just... Alright, can you hear me well?
Yeah, perfect.
Alright, that's good enough for me. Jesus, dude, that has some beautiful hair.
I just washed it.
Yeah, it looks fucking majestic as shit. Yeah, dude. I'm, what's today? 25 March 2020 for all future listeners. We are in the midst of CORONAPOCALYPSE.
Indeed.
And it is not clear whether or not we will survive as a race. I think we probably will.
Yeah.
Did you see,
The better ones amongst us.
yeah. The superiors. This is the Uber mention. Did you see that Ford and Tesla are manufacturing respirators and ventilators?
I did.
That's pretty. That's pretty cool.
Been following pretty much everything. I mean, good move on Elon, considering the first week he's like, "This is blown out of proportion." Then he's like, "All right, sorry, let's do something about this."
That's what my original thoughts were too. But then I remembered, I was like, man, for the first 2 months, I was like, I'm young and healthy. This is nothing. So I'm guilty.
Right.
So I can't point fingers.
We all are.
Yeah. The more I think about it, like, who isn't guilty? Maybe a couple medical like whistleblowers that were like, hey, this is bad. Because if none of us were guilty, then it wouldn't have got to the way it is. Exactly. So, yeah.
The only people that are really gonna fucking feel this is the people who are still towing the line. That like, oh, it's not so bad, and Like,
well, if they're still doing it, fuck them.
There's a lot of people who still are.
I mean, Jesus, yeah, man. It's yeah. There's never been anything like this in our lifetimes.
No. We have nothing to compare it to.
There's nothing to compare it to. This is,
our parents don't, and that's why I think half of them are fucking losing their minds.
Well, I don't think anyone has anything. Not anyone alive. No one has any.
No. Yeah. Maybe someone who like survived Spanish flu in the.
But even that though, they did. I don't think they enacted like global quarantine. Right. They just got out of World War I. They're like,
I know.
They're like, what? The flu? They're like, get over it.
Yeah, whatever, man.
We were just shooting gas.
30 million people just died.
We just finished the Great War. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, you got sick in the trench from flu? Like, are you sure it wasn't all the decomposing bodies and chlorine gas? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't like the 100 million shells of artillery fired every week? Like.
Right.
Yeah.
Just the rats.
Yeah. They just finished World War I. At that point, flight was 16 years old, and they had already put it into bombs. They had already turned it like they're like, dude,
like fucking paper wings.
Exactly.
And a machine gun.
Yeah, like paper, like mustaches, like ballet. Like they do. Have you seen those World War I photos of bombers? They're literally one guy's got his hand on the wheel, and the other one's. They're leaning over the edge, holding the bombs, like,
doing one of these.
Yeah, they're literally.
I think I got it.
They're like, and get fucked, like, like, yeah. But even then, you know, it was probably like proper manners. Like, oh, I'm so sorry, like.
Yeah. Back in the day when you could shoot another plane at the sky with the revolver in your
pocket,
right?
Seriously, it's like, oh, here comes the Air Force, like, boom, boom, boom. Like, and you had a pretty good chance, and you didn't even have to hit the pilot; you just hit the wings, and it was like.
Exactly. Like,
yeah,
one of their 300 wings on the plane.
Seriously, yeah. Paper mache, toothpicks, and there wasn't even like a uniform plane shape back then. It was still like battle bots, like they're figuring shit out. So it was like maybe if we put 3 wings instead of 2, and they were like. Ballet? Some were like, what about 5? And it was like, fantastic idea, Smithers.
That old, like, I guess it's a GIF now, but like it was just like a really short recording of the guy with like the 9-wing plane, and it just fucking collapses before it's about to take off.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we had Zeppelins that did bombing raids.
Right. Yeah,
we had literal fucking Zeppelins.
Again. If they got hit with like a 22 caliber bullet, just burst into flames.
Well, let me just put this microphone on, bring it up a little more. Yeah. We had those.
I like the setup.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, dude. I was when I was having
it's great.
when I was having on Delta Force Dale for episode number 50. I was like, okay, I've got to get this microphone set up. I don't know if you can tell, but the audio's actually been
audio's different. Yeah,
audio's been fantastic the last couple episodes. I've been I figured out half of it. I figured out how to make my audio good, but I don't want to bring up everything I've been doing because I've mentioned that the last 10 podcasts. Whoever's listening is like, shut the fuck up. We get it. But
no, right? I was watching Joe Rogan the other day with Kreischer, and they had a clip of like one of his like first like within the first 100 when he was doing it like 10 years ago. And it was like, this is just fucking what we're doing.
Yeah.
Literally 3 of them, just like
exactly. No, dude, that's what I did, man. It was like right before I started this podcast. I remember I've been wanting to start a podcast since like 2015, but because I'm a bitch, I kept waiting for other people to want to start it with me, and then finally in December, I was like, I just need to stop being a pussy and just do it. Like, who cares if other people want to do it or not? And I remember looking back and when I looked at Rogan's first one, and I was just looking at it, and I was like, okay, I can do it. I can do it.
Exactly. Like, and he had already been on TV.
And he was already famous at that point. This isn't just, and now he's not just some asshole in an orange jacket in the room above his parents' garage. I was like, okay.
Gotta start somewhere.
I was like, I was looking back at this tech channel, which has like 11 million subscribers, but because I live under a rock, I'd never heard of it before. MKBHD.
Don't know it.
He's this super fucking smart black guy and he reviews all technology. He just loves, not something like you and I, where we're like, oh, the new iPhone's, the screen's twice as big. That's something that dumb shits like you and me can like. We're like, oh, screen bigger. He's someone that looks on and he's like, okay, you can see the different ports and the different angles, and you can tell this by the way you hold it from here. And it's like, this is some guy that really does break down everything. But I went back, and this guy has done podcast. He's had on Elon Musk. He's had on Bill Gates. Like, he is, MKBHD. Look him up. He's fantastic. And I went back and looked at his first video, and it's him when he's like 13. And it's like episode 1, and it's like a shitty like Dell webcam from 2009. He's reviewing like a Blu-ray player. And I was just like, I can do it. Like, okay. Because if you look back at his first one, and if you look back at Rogan's first one, you see how bad they are, but you can also still see them. You're like, you recognize the mannerisms, you recognize the things they do. You're like, this is the same guy. Like, I went back and looked at a video of Post Malone before he was famous, singing like a Bob Dylan cover. And like, you can hear Post Malone in there. Like, back then, it's Austin Post with no tattoos, and he's in high school. But you listen to it, you're like, oh, that's Post Malone. So... right before Dale, I was like, okay, I'm having on a guy who was in Delta Force, and he was in the CIA Special Activities Division. Just for reference, that's what Ian Fleming based James Bond off of.
Nice.
It was the same with Jason Bourne, Special Activities Division. He won't even call it CIA. He only calls it OGA, Other Government Agency.
Sure.
He won't refer to it as CIA. So I was like, okay, I'm having on Dale fucking Comstock, like American legend. And I was like, I need to get this microphone working. And then I was like, JP's friend, Nick Phelps, who's a military interrogator, he like mentioned off because I had this flag, but it was when it was draped over the Bow flags. I just wanted to have the flag up because I fucking love America. And he was just like, I understand you have it up there, and he's like, I commend it because you're like a civilian and you just want to show patriotism. I was like, yeah. He's like, as a military member, I'm looking at it like it's not hung up properly.
I didn't rag on a fucking Bowflex.
Yeah. So I didn't think anything of it. To me, the fact that I was showing it, I was like, oh, this is good. But then I realized I was like, it's almost like it doesn't matter if you do something with good intentions, people are still going to be like, do it right, you suck. So I was like, okay, well, I do have on like an absurdly high percentage of my guests are military. And I was like, okay, I should probably hang it up properly. And I was like, okay. So I switched it around.
I mean, if you look in the books, there are laws that apply to that. Like, all those motherfuckers walking around with America pants. Yeah. That's not kosher.
No, it's not at all.
Sorry, it's not. So it's not. Like, having the American flag have your fucking ass crack next, you know what I mean? It's like, think about what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't think it matters when it's like an Olympian that just won a gold medal and they like drape the flag over themselves. I think that's kosher. But
A little different. They just
American flag pants
to represent their country.
Yeah, it looks a little. Yeah, it's a little tacky. So I was
it's almost
just
like the country giving them a hug.
Yeah. And
Good
so
job.
I was just like, yeah, good job, boy.
Yeah,
and so I was like,
that's legit.
I was like, all right, well, if I'm gonna like fix the microphone and fix the flag, I was like, you might as well fix everything. So I flipped the desk around so I have a backdrop, and I literally just turned the desk 180 degrees and got a nice chair instead of that rocking chair I was using. It was like, all right, that rocking chair is probably from the Great War, like, you know, legitimately, I think it was my grandma's. And
damn.
Yeah, so I flipped everything around and I stopped wearing the neon jacket. I decided that when I have on guests that are like, I'm having them on because they do something interesting, like nuclear fusion, like a guy I had yesterday. People that are like, I'm not friends with, that I'm just, you know, are just cool people, but that I don't know at all. I decided when I do that, I put on like a polo, and I have a nice like polo jacket that I wear. But I decided, I was like, man, when I'm just having my friends on, like, I was like, I'm gonna wear my fucking jacket, my like Transformers like triple XL pajama shirt. I've got on pajama pants. I was like, there's got to be different, like, so I try to have a little professionalism, but I'm also like, I'm not gonna sell my soul. I want to be able to, you know, like Rogan.
You gotta be who you are. Like, yeah.
I was so happy when he brought on Duncan the other day. I was so happy. That was he brought on Duncan like 3 days ago, and.
When they were in the fucking ghillie suit.
Yeah, and they hadn't done that in so long, and I was so happy. It was just such like a throwback to like the original, because like I love Rogan, but there's no doubt that it's turned into a little more of a polished product now.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
I get
like
it.
Anything. It's like he's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian, right? So that makes sense that would be his natural process. You go on stage, you work your shit out. Eventually, it gets funnier and funnier because you're actually physically doing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's sharpening it.
I do get it, but he's polishing it. It's not like it's someone's calling him going, "Oh, Joe, I don't know about that. You shouldn't say these things today." Like it's within his own realm.
Well said. You know? I didn't think about that. It's his. You're right. It's not some board. Exactly. It's not some board of producers. Like, all right, Joe. Now now I like the dick jokes. I like them. You get a good response to them. But I'm thinking, what if we brought on someone from Chevy? You're like, no, it's. You're right. You're right. Exactly. It's him doing it, and it's his. Yeah. And when you look at it that way, I'll eat my own words. When you look at it that way, it's his thing. You gotta remember, dude. He's like a 55-year-old. Like, he's a grown man. He might be looking at it like, I'll save my shit for stand up, and then this is my. Maybe he's trying to become like a, you know, more of like a. I mean, he's the biggest voice, and he's the biggest voice in the world, and it's. Yeah, maybe he's trying to just take it somewhere else. I imagine when I'm in my 50s, I won't be all about the dick jokes and boob jokes. And, you know, maybe you want to be like, I can do some actual interviews. But God, I love.
But it could also be like, you know, like we've lived in this world for so long where like celebrity are so like distanced from us. You know what I mean? That there almost seems like there's nothing to relate to. Yeah. And when I see him do this kind of shit, like, he's got a nice studio and, you know, he's got money, but, like, of course he does. Like, he's been on TV. He's worked really hard his whole life.
Factor. Yeah.
But at the same time, I see this as him not thinking he's above anything or anyone else.
Yeah.
He's gotten, like, if you watch over the years, he's gotten so much fucking smarter about shit and so much better at learning and like understanding things, like, because he admitted he's like, I'm a fucking meathead, I don't know what the hell, like, anything, right? But now to see him talk about things and the ideas that he comes up with, it's like, shit, man, like, fuck I can see his progression. I can see him like fucking the wheels turning in his mind, and I got a lot of respect for that, right? Like you said, he's a 55-year-old man. A lot of old men don't care and won't change and won't, you know, they're just like, it's everybody else's fault. It's not my fault. I'm fine. I'm perfect. But,
that's right. I didn't. Like, would it be good if it was still the same thing as episode 1? I'd be like, really? You've done 1,500 episodes and it's the same thing? Like, right. You know, that is interesting. It's like, and I think that's where I'm trying to go with this, is like I love his, and like by no means am I trying to be someone that, like, someone else's success takes away from mine. Like, not at all. Fuck those people. But I'm looking at it more as, like, it is harder and harder to relate to Rogan just because it's, I mean, it is the spotlight of the internet. Like, you can't just get on there anymore as just, like, you know, smoke weed and tell dick jokes. Like, it's, and I get it, and it's grown, and it's I mean, who wouldn't want that success for themselves? So, like, hats off to him. But it's also, like, he has on, like, presidential candidates. Like, it's, again, wildly successful for him, and, like, it couldn't happen to a better person. What I kind of want to make this podcast is, like, at least while it's still small, is, like, I still, like, it has that vibe. Like, I get my guests from, like, Reddit. I just DM me people. And I'm like, hey, dude, that's cool, though. I was like, you work at a nuclear reactor? You want to do my podcast? It's just dick jokes. And they're just like, yeah, dude. Yeah. And it's like, I still like that. It's like that.
Like, it's a thing. Like, when I was growing up, we didn't have fucking podcasts and shit. It was like, you want to see an interview? You gotta watch Larry King, right? And if you didn't want to watch Larry King, well, there's other people who do fucking other interviews. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's not just, like, it doesn't have to be one style, one. Yeah. I think that world is dead now, Tommy. And I think this fucking virus is like the final nails in the coffin of that old bullshit. Right? Yeah. I think that hierarchy is breaking down real fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I like it because it now means that it's just, yeah, because even when I remember listening to, like, Opie and Anthony on, like, XM. In the car when, like, John, shit all the time. That's what I'm saying. I remember, like, John driving in, like, the way to school and, like, listening to, like, but even that, it was like you had to have an XM receiver, you had to have an XM subscription.
You had to stick that stupid tape in the wire attached.
You literally had to have some. Yeah, it was this weird, like, lobotomy. You had to. It was like some Trojan horse shit. You had to stick the tape into the cassette, and a wire would come out of it, and it was like a tampon wire coming out of it, and that would go into the XM, and the XM was mounted with, like, duct tape on the dashboard.
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember Patrick and I, when we inherited the Jeep, we had a styrofoam cup that we, like, stapled to the dashboard, and you would just drop the iPod in there, and it would just sit in the styrofoam cup. Yeah, and that was before the radio broke and it got stuck on 89.7, because one morning while I was in the senior parking lot with my friend Harrison Laird, and we were sitting in there and we were, like, listening to In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. Then it was we had it plugged in, and we're like, you know, we were just quiet listening to it, and it was da-dum, 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 and I punched the dashboard, and it just that the radio was stuck on 89.7, and for forever. We got rid of the car eventually. But yeah, that being said, even that was still limited. With YouTube, it's like, dude, if you can access internet, which everyone can, you can start a podcast with. It can be the shittiest thing. It can start with just, like, you know, hey, can you hear me? We're working. Let's go. If it's funny and if it's engaging, it will catch on. It's like there's less and less of a barrier to entry, and more just, like, you can get it up, and if it's good, it will rise, you know?
And more people looking for, like, genuine shit, not just, like, looking for processed nonsense with 5 minutes of commercials in between everything. You know what I mean?
Like, everything's edited with sound effects, like.
Yeah, like, I mean, those things are nice sometimes. I can appreciate, like, there's this one dude who just sometimes when I'm, like, not in the mood to, like, learn, when I just want to watch some bullshit. Yeah. There's this guy. So, like, I gamed when I was growing up, but literally, like, nowadays I'll play, like, Gran Turismo, and that's about it. The only thing I know about the world of gaming is through this guy. His name's Cat Icarus. He's this, like, British dude who's just, like, started, like, literally in his fucking room. But the amount of, like, I don't know, he's really good at editing, he's funny as shit, and he's just, like, a good scriptwriter, so he does these little skits and shit like that, and he's fucking hilarious. But, like, there's no production value. It's his fucking wife, like, recording it. Yeah. Like, and he shows, like, the outtakes at the end of the videos and shit like that. But, like, he fucking, like, I got a lot of respect for that, but you don't need all of this shit to like do that. It comes from within you, right?
Exactly.
So like last night, I basically decided, because of all this shit, like I got laid off on Friday.
I'm sorry.
Dude, I saw this comment like 3 weeks ago. That's why I'm not losing my mind, because I already lost my mind. I already had my panic attack.
Yeah, I already had mine.
This is how this shit's gonna go. Nobody fucking listened, and it was like, whatever, man. Like, it is what it is.
It's kind of easier when the whole world's in the same boat, and you're like,
I know.
You're like, everyone's like, it's a little less like, I'm a piece of shit, and more like
last 10 years of my life have kind of been mental hell. So like, I'm fucking primed for this shit. You know what I mean?
You got mental calluses.
I've already got the wheels going.
You're like
I'm gonna restart my music business.
Yeah, it's like, that's all you got. Give me another hit, bitch. Like,
literally,
bully.
Fucking ducking and weaving, like
World War I. Bully. That's all you got.
Yeah.
Put out another wing. Pass me the mustache wax. Yeah.
I'm just gonna start a music thing again, because I don't know if my company's still gonna be around after this, right? Because there's gonna be a shit ton of bankruptcies and fucking defaults.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just reaching out to some bands that I used to work with. The first one was like, no, we're good, and I'm like, hey, respect. But I think like years ago that would have like got me down, or been like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. But like now I'm like, cool. We'll see you in a year when I'm fucking flying. It's like cool, and I'll bring you along. Like no hard feelings. Fucking, I get it, man. But like, I think we gotta stop relying on these like fucking, oh, this job will save me and I'll get a pension and da 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 da. Like, that shit is done. Like, that shit was done for us by and large, but now it's really done.
Now it's really
fucking done. Just got double tapped.
Oh yeah, seriously, it was dying. The idea of a pension and like a good job out of college. But yeah, now the executor walked up and just emptied the clip into the forehead just to make sure.
Say what again? Like,
stand up! Stand up! It's like the South Park, you know, when Mickey Mouse. Do you ever watch the one with Mickey Mouse and the Jonas Jonas Brothers?
Yeah.
Stand the fuck up! Stand the fuck up! Say it again. Say it. Do we have a problem here? No, Mr. Mouse. Good. That's what I thought. Now go make me some fucking money.
Right. Yeah, I'm sick of this shit. Like, I'm sick of fucking everybody being under the heel of some fucking insecure motherfucker. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna live my life like that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be affected by other people's stupidity or insecurities. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I can do, and if I gotta like live in my car for a while, fuck it. I don't care. Summer's coming.
Exactly.
Seriously, like, I've done this before. I did this before, and it was not a great monetary success, but that was due to like my ignorance and my age at the time. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't have the mindset, but I think working in the automotive industry has taught me a lot more about like getting paid for what you're worth, but at the same time not having to fuck over other people just to get there.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, dude.
Changed my.
Yeah. So I had on a guy that went to, ironically enough, went to UGA and is now at Georgia Tech, and he's making something called MemeSat, and it's a meme set.
So, is that thing you told me about?
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Do you know what a CubeSat is? A CubeSat, apparently, I don't know this. It started in like 2000. Apparently, there's like a revolution in satellites. Almost kind of like podcasts, like where you no longer have to be Larry King. But instead of like being these like $10 billion satellites, there are now satellites that are legitimately like this big.
Yeah.
And they're just, you can send like 100 up at a time. And so it's literally, he said you can make them for like 15 grand as opposed to like 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like,
and probably if they're so much smaller, you can fucking stick a bunch of them in some cheap ass rocket and just be like, let's go.
What they do is they literally just like buy space on like SpaceX, because I didn't know this, but apparently those huge rockets, they have like ballast weight to balance the rocket. Yeah. So instead of just putting concrete bricks in there, they're just like, they just start selling off the spot, and they're just like, you get like a slot. And if your satellite can fit in that box, once it gets to space, it can unfold and everything. But they're like, if you can fit there, they literally just sell. It's like Airbnb. They're just like, hey, we're going, and we got like 10 slots. Who wants one? And they just sell them. And NASA will actually pay for, if you're in school, they'll like buy slots. NASA buys up slots and they'll give them to you for free if you're at like an American university, which is pretty fucking cool.
I mean,
But
that would go a long way towards making internet and like connectivity more of a utility instead of this thing we get charged a fucking by the megabyte for. Well, you know what I mean?
Goddamn, man! If Elon's Starlink didn't come at the perfect time, the amount of amount of people on the internet in the last like week or two. Everyone's quarantined and everyone's just online. What better time than to be like, hey bitches, you want internet from orbit? Like,
I don't want people to die, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, thank fucking God something like this finally fucking happened. Like, I've been talking about something going down like this for years. I didn't know in what way, shape, or form it was coming, but I could see the fucking cracks in the system. And I was like, this won't last.
Well,
you don't know what you're talking about.
I think everyone knew.
All right.
Yeah, I think everyone knew something was... It was a matter of time. It was just like it's like a tinderbox. Again, World War One, the powder keg of Europe. It's like it was just like a matter. It was just like how many people are on planes and subways and we're just this interconnected, and we're just like mass producing this like factory farm shit, and it's like it's only a matter of time before like one protein folds the wrong way. And it's just it's literally like it's like when a fan is blowing and all you got to do is like blow a little bit of smoke into it, and it's like and blows it all out. It's like the Earth is just this like. It's almost like a ball of snakes, and they're just all crawling into each other. And it's like you just gotta throw one thing in there. It's like throwing a wrench into a gear. Yeah, I mean,
it's like with the stock market, both yours and ours. Like we lost 10 years of gains in a week and a half. Then what the fuck was it? You know what I mean? What the fuck were the gains?
Yeah, like, the gains are did you get out on time? That's what it is, man. It's all musical chairs.
Yeah.
You gotta know when to sit down. It's
like dude. I'm in such a good place. I have no debt. I have just like you know what I mean. Like no, I didn't lose a fucking cent in this thing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like an overused joke, but it's because it's real. It's like, how much did my life change during this quarantine? I used to wake up and go to the gym, and then I'd come back, shower, meditate, podcast, do some schoolwork, and then in the evenings I listen to audiobooks while I play Xbox, and that's how I just kind of get interesting shit to talk about. Right. The only difference now is I just do cardio and I'll walk around my neighborhood instead of going to the gym. my quarantined life is like, other people are like, dude, I'm going insane. I'm like, dog, I haven't had a social life in 4 years. Like I moved home in 2016. I'm like, dog, my nearest friend is in Atlanta, like 599 miles away. Like I feel bad for everyone. At the same time, I'm just like, the sad truth is the coronavirus has benefited me enormously because everyone's open to do podcasts. They're like, I got nothing else to do. Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, and that's the thing. After this all breaks, what the fuck is the first thing a shattered economy does? They want to go out and they want to fucking forget that they're all poor. So they're going to go to spend $5-10 to go see music locally.
Yeah.
And that wave's fucking coming. So that's what I'm qualified for.
Hey man, this is like, in a weird way, it's kind of like it's prohibition right now.
Yeah.
You see that meme where it was like, it's like January 1st, 2020. It's like, LOL, we're back to the Roaring 20s. Earth. All right, here's another great war, and it's like, wait, no, and then it's our stock market crash, and it's like, why are you doing this? Like mass pandemic? No, stop. LOL, you can't even go to the bars anymore. It's like Roaring 20s, baby. The memes write themselves, dude. Like, what the fuck?
There's going to be a lot of introspection going on, and there's going to be a lot of people looking at themselves and looking at their lives and being like, because like even when this comes back, you think everybody's just going to be like, hey, let's start that shit up again that we fucking hated in the first place? Nobody's going to want to do that.
99% will, though.
Yeah, a small percentage, but it won't be the mass. And the fact that we've had this time to like regroup, like two things are going to happen. So like Canada's just doing this right now. They're doing an emergency UBI, universal basic income, $2,000 a month for 4 months. Once this like works and people realize that, like, holy shit, I just need a little bit to fucking coast by to get my shit together, and then, you know, I can build on top of that. Once enough people figure that shit out, nobody's going back to work, man. Fucking nobody.
Yeah, that's Duncan was
because
talking
why
about
would
that.
you?
Yeah,
why would you?
Duncan was talking about that. He's like, we're gonna do this, like, he's like, Rogan said it. He's like, yes, there's a percentage.
Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Fine,
Sorry.
Rob. No, that's cool, dude. The world waits on you, Rob. Rob Anton. Ditching us. Rude. He's a masochist. He's an asshole. Oh, he's back. But it's like Rogan was saying that. He was like, yeah, there's a small percentage of people that just want to abuse it and don't want to do anything. But he's like, the vast majority. He's like, but that's with anything and whatever. That's a dead. That's a dead horse. Don't need to beat that. But he was like, he's like, the vast majority of people, it's like, you just need a fucking hand. It's like if you're pulling me out of like mud, like, you know, my truck is stuck. I'm not asking you to like tow me 30 miles through the woods back to the city. I'm like, can you just get me out of the mud? You get me out of the mud, and I'm like, thanks, bro. Fist bump. I'm out. Like, he's like, that's what the vast majority of people are.
I think even more than that. It's like, you got me out of the. Okay, you need a hand with your truck?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people are fucking genuinely, most people, I think, want to help each other.
Yeah.
I think we've just been spread and, like, stretched so fucking thin that we can only care about ourselves, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's you can't help anyone if you can't help yourself. And that's...
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, airplanes, dude. Put your mask on before you help others, because if you're unconscious, you can't help anyone. But if one person is conscious, they can hook up someone else who can hook up someone else. And that, but granted, that's also an idyllic viewpoint. So I'm not even looking at it as like help back so much as I'm just like...
But we somehow got to 9 billion of us on this fucking planet, so we must have helped each other at some point along the way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, man. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm just trying to look at like the silver lining of all of this, and it's for everyone that's like, there's nothing lower than the people who are politicizing this. Like, it's just it's like, dude, wait until it's finished. Like the cases are still going up exponentially. It's like,
I know.
Wait till it's finished and we can point fingers and yell at each other. But it's like right now,
we haven't even reached the death.
No, we haven't reached the peak yet.
Yeah.
It's like right now we need to be doing what like Ford and Tesla are doing, where it's like everyone's they're just doing that for good PR, and it's like, dude, maybe they are, but like right now, people's grandparents are dying. So it's like hey, that guy's giving his life jacket to those women and children because he knows it's going to look good for him. And it's like, dog, that Titanic is slanting right now. Shut up.
Storm.
Yeah. Oh, you hate those planes at the World Trade Center. Well, you know, Bush defunded the FAA. And it's like, maybe that's the case, but right now the buildings are on fire.
Right?
So
I know.
I'm just trying to look at it like that when people are like, oh, Trump did this, or like, oh, the Democrats are doing this. I'm just like, can we just pause for like, we can go right back at each other's throats. I promise. We can go right back to killing each other. But just for right now, it's like... So that being said, I'm just like, what are the positives? Just like, what are the positives? The positives, maybe we realize how fragile life is and that you should pursue your dream. Like, hey, I could have died during coronavirus. I could have died, you know, or hey, I got this job instead of pursuing my dream because I wanted a steady, comfortable, safe job. Coronavirus just laid waste to that. Damn, I could have been pursuing something else. Still had it laid to waste, but at least enjoyed what I was doing. It's like Jim Carrey. He's like, might as well go for what you love, because you can fail at doing something you don't love. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Just because you choose the safe route doesn't mean that it's
percentage to fail because you don't really give a shit. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's like
you'll end up in some fucking office in the middle of nowhere because you're a redundancy and nobody wants.
And coronavirus still comes regardless. So it's like whether you're whether you're like writing music or whether you're working in a cubicle, it's like, oh damn. We were both laid off. Like, you could have gone for it. It's like
like my prediction for this Canadian UBI, which I think eventually you guys will get as well once it starts to get worse.
We're already, aren't we already?
We're talking about it.
No, we're already doing something where it's $1,500 to
emergency fund. Okay,
it's $1,500. I think it's for. I want to say it's set up for like 2 months right now, and it's like, let's see where it goes. But yeah, we're already.
But like, I think our government thinks that everybody's gonna get these $2,000 and just like, okay, capitalism's back. But I don't think they realize that like a vast majority of us are just gonna sit on this and like use it to our own ends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's gonna be like, oh, I got $2,000, time to buy another car. This is not the mindset of people right now.
No, some people are
this is gonna be like a Great Depression.
It's
completely another one.
Unless we ended prohibition, and I'm very spotty on history, so I don't know if we did that to help end the depression or if we did it because we realized it wasn't working. So actually, fuck anything I was about to say about that because it's factually incorrect. But what if marijuana was federally legalized to help get us out of this in terms of just money flow?
You mean like here, where there's a meme the other day that I saw? It's like 2018 marijuana in Canada, and someone's getting cuffed, and then it's like 2020 marijuana in Canada essential service. like, dude, that's the one stock you should have fucking bought if you were like had your wits about you with your and a good chunk of cash invested in the markets. I would have taken it all out and stuck it all in like medical and weed, and and you'd be sitting pretty right now.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Oh, I don't have any money to invest, so I don't give a shit either way.
Man. But I was thinking, like, it had such a positive effect on Colorado. Like, maybe that will help jumpstart everything. Just legalize it and just be like.
Not to mention hemp production.
Well, I'm not even going into all of that. There are ripple effects. But I'm just talking about like the basic, like, because guess what? It doesn't matter if there's coronavirus. It doesn't matter if there's a quarantine. People are still getting their drugs just as they have for the last 10,000 years, and they will for the next 10. People are buying drugs, which means that money is going somewhere, and it's mostly going to cartels in south of the border. So fucking legalize it. Just start raking it in. And that does suck.
Because, in your country, all that shit's being funneled out, whereas in my country,
these fucking terrorist organizations.
It's recycled, right?
All of our money is going to these fucking terrorist organizations. And not only that, we're spending money and it's going to them, and we're also spending money through taxes to do the war on drugs. We could save money from spending there. You could save, just throwing out numbers, you could save $100 per person by not funding the drug war, and you could make $100 per person by taxing pot. That could be a $200 difference per jobs. Not to mention just the general drop in addiction of all the other shit. Because once people start smoking pot, they realize, hey, maybe I should stop taking Xanax every morning. Like,
definitely changed shit up here. Like, my sister deals with anxiety a lot and doesn't pop as many pills as she did when she was living in Georgia. Like, she needs them once in a while, but like by and large, she just smokes some weed. And like,
I would kill for some pot.
Our children have childhood arthritis, and she's had it since she was like an infant. And to manage her pain, my sister gets her CBD stuff from the legal Ontario dispensary. You know, like she doesn't have to go to some fucking weirdo in their alleyway. She goes in, they go, "Hi, welcome. Is that debit or cash today?"
Exactly. It's dude, I have never felt better than when I had some like low strength THC CBD gummies, probably around this time last year. And I would go to work all day. I'd come back and do graphic design. And then at like 6 p.m., when I normally just stop working anyway, I would take one, I'd play some video games, and then I'd pass the fuck out, and I'd wake up feeling so relaxed and so fresh. And I would get up and go to the gym, and I'd do all the same shit I normally did. Instead of having a like, I gotta take a clonazepam, or I gotta chug half a bottle of cough syrup, and then you're hungover for 2 days. Like, it's almost like it's been argued so many times that there's almost no new novel argument. It's just like, you just sound like a hippie. Oh yeah, let me guess, give me your medicine. But it's, dude, if there's anything that's silver linings of coronavirus, like maybe it's like there almost has to be a big enough disruption.
That's what,
for this to happen. You almost need a big enough You know, when you're yelling at your drunk friends, when you're like,
closed.
Rob, you're drunk, Rob, you're drunk. That doesn't work. What you got to do is wham, you hit them and you go, dude, bro, it's your best friend. I'm telling you, chill. And that's when you kind of come to, you go, oh man, I just tried to fight someone at the bar. Like, you kind of need that just whack, you know, and it, you know, shocks you back awake. We almost need something like coronavirus to literally just be like freeze. Like, everyone stops. It's like the DJ scratches the record, and it's like you almost need something like this to be like, everyone, you just get out of the momentum, because you've been getting up and going to school and getting up and going to college and getting up and going to work and getting up and going every time, and you're just doing the same thing every day. You do it for decades, and there's no time to stop. And it's like, we're all the fish swimming upstream. Coronavirus just put it like a rock in the stream. We're all like chilling.
I think it puts it into stark contrast. All that bullshit that you hear about, like, you know, if you're lower class or whatever, you should have some savings so that in case of an emergency, you're good for 2 to 3 months. Yet all these fucking corporations are already whining for bailouts. It's been a month. It's been a fucking month. Like, maybe you shouldn't have spent $21 billion on stock buybacks to fucking up your artificial fucking market, dumbass.
Yeah, not only, it's been like 2 weeks. It hasn't even been a month.
I know.
It's been 2 weeks.
I know.
And they're
already like, we're going out of business. Oh, too fucking bad.
And like, it's like, dude, we've already seen this movie. We saw it in 2008. You guys got a bunch of bailouts. And all the guys just got bonuses.
Maybe you guys shouldn't buy so many cell phones.
Yeah.
Start switching the fucking dumb arguments back on them.
Maybe you should stop playing your stupid video games, CEOs.
Yeah. What happened to those bootstraps?
Yeah, you guys spend all your money on your nifty car rims and your craft beers. They're like, what? And just be like, yeah, it's as unapplicable to you as it is to me, because it's not a real argument. Like,
well, like, when you look at it, they're the system we work within. So why the fuck would we as workers be any different than the system that is promoting this kind of behavior?
Well, we know the answer, and it's because it's rules for thee, not for me. Like, you and I, we're having dangerous speak right now. Yeah. We're getting those workers are getting uppity.
Right?
They're talking about rats and whatnot. Dude, what do you think about Reddit taking $300 million from China last year and then taking another $200 million, I think, this year? So Reddit now is owned like 10% by the Chicoms. And
I did hear that.
Well, Pete, there have been posts. There's a new auto moderator that removes posts or removes comments. Just like in like conspiracy threads. And
you know what?
This is what it's called. Sorry, this is what it's called. It's called, Reddit has started something called the anti-evil operation. And it's where they take out bad comments. Does that not sound like the most 1984 shit? Anti-evil?
Yeah.
The anti-evil operation.
Again, I don't think, like, they can try and do this shit, but like, people get so aware of this stuff so quickly now. It's just like, you know what I mean? We find a way. Okay, if Reddit dies, then there'll be another fucking Reddit tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I think it's...
People are getting more adaptive, and they're starting to move around shit. And there's like this guy I follow on Instagram who does all these fucking, like, amazing graffiti posts. And recently he made one of Xi Jinping as a coronavirus.
Oh, Jesus.
And it got, like, flagged. Like, all these fucking people were trying to be like, this is false information.
This is hate speech. This is hate speech.
Yeah, keep going, man. Fucking keep going. And, like, nobody's buying that shit. Nobody.
No one.
Not a fucking soul.
You ask anyone, and no one is like, you right. But the thing is, like, I think it... You know, like, if I, as, like, a singular person, started, like, deleting comments on, like, my videos, and I was like, that's hate speech, people would be like, fuck you, my channel will be dead in a day. Something as big as Reddit, I think there's just a bit of a... That's wonderful. That is wonderful.
And then,
who's that? What's his name? What's the artist?
Xi Jinping?
No, the artist. Who's the Instagram?
Lush sucks.
What?
Lush, Lush, sucks, Sux.
Lush sucks.
And then this is the independent fact checkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, it's some 1984 shit. Yeah, that's the thing. Right? So something like as big as Reddit or Instagram, it's, again, whereas my channel will get shut down in a day from people being like, fuck this. This isn't like hate speech. You're just being a bitch. Something as big as Reddit or Instagram, I think the death, it's like turning a cruise ship. you turn the wheel, and then like a minute later it shifts. Reddit's doing all this stuff now. It's just like it's gonna take like a year or two, but it's gonna die. It's gonna die.
It will.
You can't.
That's fine.
You can't censor.
We'll move on.
Dude, you can't censor. I mean, everyone's pretty universally like on the same page with like you can censor people who submit like underage pornography and calls for violence, like inciting like specific violence and putting people's addresses. Everyone is united on that. Everyone's like, yeah, you can't do that. But anything outside of that, dude, the idea that you can ban subreddits because of political views and they just call it hate speech, dog, that is...
Well, it's funny because, like, I guess that money influx coincides with when the Donald and Chapo Trap House both got banned or, like, quarantined or whatever.
Yeah, no, they got
and
quarantined.
Like,
they got... The Donald, they limited... No one can post or comment in the Donald, but they didn't delete it, so no one can say it got banned, but no one's allowed to comment or post there.
And then Chapo Trap House got banned. And I understand why, because, like, they're a bunch of fucking trolls, and they do say, like, bring out the guillotines and shit like that.
But that's what I love. But the thing is, I was subscribed to both of those subreddits, and I loved it, because one was far left, one was far right, but at the core of them both was like that original spirit of the internet of just like nothing matters, your feelings don't matter, my username is Nazi cunt face baby cannibal 666, like, but that was the beauty of it early on. It was like the whole purpose of the internet is like you don't have to be real, you don't have to be Tommy, you can just be bitch tits omega 7, like, you know, and you can be anyone you want, and like that's what was so fun about it. Now we call it trolls, but it used to just be... That's what there was no such thing as a troll because everyone was a troll. Like,
I also think that the last 10 years of us going through this whole like PC versus troll versus nonsense has like turned us like almost it's upped our collective humor, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing much less of like this sniping at each other, and more of like attacking the real power structure that is fucking with people. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like, like I can definitely see a shift. I can sense a shift. Like anybody, it seems on Reddit who gets like outraged or whatever, totally gets fucking chewed out by everybody else. Like it's hilarious, right? Like, yeah. Whereas it used to be like, brr, 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 and like everybody would fucking show up and have their one side, and nobody would talk or nobody would agree on anything. And nowadays it's like when I watch the fucking Political Compass subreddit, that shit is hilarious because they're all just taking the piss out of each other.
Exactly.
Right? Dude. Have you ever?
Yeah, no, I know I love that. Their Instagram's fantastic too. One of my very good friends, my best friend Matt Walker, his roommate Ben, he and I are probably on. There are probably no two people that are on farther ends of the political spectrum, but he and I exchange memes every day because the most fun is taking the piss out of yourself. The most fun is making fun of yourself and when you can both do that, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And not only that, you start to end up seeing eye to eye more with people when you both show yourself as just these like fragile, mortal ideas that can be shit on and made fun of and turned into shitty memes. You sort of take away your ego and it's less serious. And then all of a sudden when serious stuff does pop up, you're much more likely to like see each other eye to eye because you're like, all right, this asshole makes fun of himself too. So it's less like my side's right, your side's wrong. Instead, it's like, okay, no, I've seen you make memes about yourself. So it's like,
and if someone brings up something in like a serious manner, you're more likely to give it some consideration and thought, as opposed to just being like, no, he's right wing or he's left wing. Exactly. Listen to that.
Exactly. He's like my friend Ben is like really far left, and he's the one that showed me this meme. You know, it's the Bernie like I'm asking for your financial support. Yeah. He's the one that sent me the one with Bernie with a gun that says I am no longer asking like socialists of America.
Yeah.
And like.
It's hilarious.
Exactly. Anyway, I made one of like I made one shitting on like Charlie Kirk because he's got all those fucking
small teeth.
Yeah. He's got all those fucking Turning Point USA shit, and I made one where it's like dear liberals, like, if global warming is real, then why are my nipples still so hard? And it's just like him standing next to Trump, and you can like see his nips through his shirt, and it's like checkmate.
Yeah, checkmate libtards.
Yeah, checkmate. Yeah.
That was like another one I saw recently. I don't know if it was a fucking headline or a meme, but it's like both left and right, not certain if Ben Shapiro was bullied too much or too little as he was growing up.
Another great one is like, it's like coronavirus, and it's like coronavirus has shown that we are all equally pieces of shit, because it's not, it's like it will infect and kill everyone. It does not care where you stand on this issue or that. It's like coronavirus is showing us that like, if there is no teamwork, we will die. Because it's not like, oh, you voted for like the Green New Deal, like, oh, you voted against the Patriot Act. No, it's just like, I'm going to destroy all your lungs with equal indifference. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I think people are going to remember how their governors or their mayors or whoever is in charge handled this situation. Yeah. And there's going to be a fucking reckoning for that. I don't care left, right, whatever you are. Like,
will there be,
people
though?
are going to fucking pay.
Will there be? Will this not just slowly fade into the past like 9/11?
I don't think so. Because this isn't 9/11, because 9/11 was contained to the States. This is fucking global.
True.
Like, this is everywhere. This is the first time, like, again, like we were saying at the beginning, none of us have ever experienced anything.
No one alive. Yeah, no one alive.
Right? And people, I see people are coming together. You see less people shitting on China for, like, being China and more realizing, oh, this government's fucked. Like, it has little to nothing to do with the people themselves. It's all this one motherfucker, right?
Yeah,
like, but I don't think people thought like that for a long time, right?
Yeah, they're a monolith. They're China. We're America. Exactly. They're Mexico. And it's
exactly.
Yeah, we're realizing now, by and large, the bad people across the world are just a very tippy top pieces of shit. For the most part, everyone else is the same. You wake up, have some coffee, you jerk off, have some breakfast, go to a job that you don't like, you don't hate, come home. Yeah, exactly. I gotta go piss again.
Yeah.
So, I've just been like, Anchorman, the Panda Watch, right?
Yeah.
Day 30. Can you come out here, you stupid panda? I was kind of laughing because it's like, despite coronavirus like wrecking the economy, unless you're looking at like video from hospitals, it's not like it was like a hurricane or a bomb. So everything still just looks the same. So like I was just watching the news and someone's like, and it's wreaking havoc, and it's just like a sunny like lawn. There's like a girl on like a tricycle.
Pollution's down, and it's
so
really
when I first saw that,
so,
just like they almost like it's like a flood. They want something to show, but there's nothing to show because it's a microscopic virus.
Yeah.
So the first thing I thought of when I saw that last week was like Panda Watch. Like, come out here, you stupid Panda Watch. But then I realized someone like asked me yesterday, and they're like, it's kind of funny, it's kind of racist. I was like, what are you talking about? It's from Anchorman. But I realized it's like, oh, Chinese virus, Panda Watch. I was like, oh, fuck.
You didn't even make that connection.
No, I didn't make that connection either. So the first, the last 5 episodes have just been like, Panda Watch. But then I realized people are like, that's racist. Like, I was like, oh, shit, I didn't think about that.
Oh, my God. Oh, shit. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, considering there's like a bunch of people who are like going into retirement. You know what I mean? It's just like that have just had their fucking retirement funds completely drained.
Yeah. If they cashed out, hopefully we can inflate the economy back up.
Most people, I mean, yeah, but it's not going to be like by the end of the year or like within the next 2 to 5. It's gonna be, and it's gonna be on us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not gonna be it's not gonna be what it was.
No.
There's no way.
No, but
because our whole our markets are all based on like feelings, like to break it down as right.
But what just shows just how
the fact that everything will be okay and everything will be the same. But this shows us that like Because humans are bad with long-term history. They don't pay attention to all the terrible things that have befallen us throughout our long history on this fucking planet.
Yeah.
But now this is a stark reminder that we ain't shit. Like, we ain't shit, and the systems and we put in place don't mean anything.
Yeah.
To Mother Nature.
No, it doesn't. But I think it's sort of liberating, not to.
Absolutely.
It's like what Alan Watts.
Because honestly, I think we lived in a fantasy. We lived in a fantasy where we thought everything's just, there's unlimited growth and unlimited potential, and we can just go to work for 9 to 5 and we'll be taken care of.
Yeah,
because the government and my pension and X and Y, and it's just like, that's never been a point. Like, this is the first time in human history we've ever had this fucking luxury. So yeah, you abuse it, it gets taken away.
Yeah, but like the economy is not like a real thing. Like,
no,
like our energy production, that is a real thing that can be measured in physical constants. How much, hydroelectric, geothermal, fossil, wind, solar, kilowatts, megawatts, gigawatts. Okay, cool, we're doing it all. That is a constant where you can be like, that's our food production. How many bushels of grain are we making? How many pounds of beef? The economy is as arbitrary as inches and yards and feet. Exactly. It means nothing. It's like what Alan Watts said. He's like, the strange thing about like the Great Depression, he's like, it wasn't like World War I or World War II where like society was actually, there were bombs going off and physical businesses were being blown up. Like, they no longer existed. Bombs were hitting cafes. He was like, the weird thing about the Great Depression, he's like, the day before and the day after, everything was identical. He's like, no buildings were destroyed. The farms were still there. The same number of people. But one day we all just agreed, it's all fucked. Like, he's like, we're role playing and we decided, okay, now we're all gonna, and again, it's very easy for me to make fun of this in 2020 when I've never known hardship in my life. So not belittling it specifically so much as just looking at it, what it really is. He's like, it's not like construction workers showed up to these, and Alan Watts' voice, it's not like these construction workers showed up to these grandiose buildings in the sky in New York, and the next day they just went, oh, sorry, we're all out of inches. Like, we have all the nails and the hammers, but we're all out of inches. What do you mean we're out of inches? We're out of inches and we're out of yards high. We're all out of pounds of. It's like, no, we still have the cement, but we're out of pounds. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. But that's what it was. Like, we're out of dollars. Okay, so we don't have we don't have the paper, but all the food's still there. All the ships are still there. Yes, but we're out of dollars. What does that mean? It's like, this is different. This is a physical thing that is killing people. It's like the fucking.
It is different, absolutely, but it's also having the same economic impact.
Yeah,
right? It's just showing the flaws in our system and how empty it was. Like, the fact that we're week 2 in and already like every fucking travel place, hotels, like they're all gone tits up. Like, they're done.
Everything has.
We're 2 fucking weeks in.
Yeah.
2 weeks, dude. Like. And this shit won't end until the end of summer, probably.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to fucking emaciate everything we knew. And all we have is each other and shit like this connectivity, right? Because this isn't 1930s. We don't have to, like... It's not like we knew each other in high school. We never saw each other again.
Yeah,
because it was impossible. And once in a while, you would send me some letter. Hello, dearest Rob. How are you today?
Has the Dust Bowl affected thee? Have you heard of the Great War?
Exactly.
It's like...
And then you get an answer back. He died of typhoid 3 years back.
I remember when we used to fly biplanes in the Great War. Boy!
How's your face? You still got that mask?
Yeah, seriously, right? It's...
Like, shit is different. And I think connectivity and the ability to communicate, as long as this internet stays up, I think we'll be fine. We'll be all right. I know.
As long as the internet's the internet is the internet is the goddamn opioid, the cake and circus that the powers that be have to keep up. Because if there's no internet, that's how you'll get lazy millennials rioting. If there's no memes and porn and Reddit, There's no
At least
Netflix.
if we have these things, we can use them to satiate our anxieties, but also use it to build businesses, new opportunities, right? Like you see everything. Everybody's suddenly non-essential and can work from home. And it's like, then what the fuck were they doing there in the first place?
Yeah.
What the fuck were we all doing there in the first place?
Why did we all have to drive there? Burn fossil fuels to get there. We had to run electricity to keep the lights on at the office. We all had to put on a collar and a tie and, hey, Meredith. And it's like, we could have just been working from home naked this whole time.
Yes, we could have.
Yes.
It was just an old idea that persisted. And
that's what coronavirus was. Coronavirus was what's that word for people that come in and make your business more efficient? But consultant. Coronavirus it's the consultant virus. It was like, how many of y'all really need to be here? Hospital workers to military, infrastructure, food.
It's like anything though. If an old forest doesn't burn down, new trees won't grow.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what I'm trying to look at this as
that's how I am. It's not. Yeah, a lot of people are going to fucking die.
The caterpillar's
worse before it gets better, but there will be an after. And as
caterpillar's got to consume itself.
We'll be here to clean up the fucking pieces.
The caterpillar's got to consume its cool little cocoon it made to become the butterfly.
Right. And I think we'll see globalization change. It'll come down to, it won't be just the purview of these millionaires and billionaires. You'll start to see like interconnectivity between people like us, people on our level who just want to like do shit.
Yeah.
And we'll start reaching out, and people will start probably like with how far Google Translate's gone in the last decade. I think you're going to see like a massive uptick of use of this shit because people are going to just want to connect with each other, right?
Yeah.
People are going to start seeking out things that they want or are interested in. Which I think will be good. Like all the best times in human history were times of innovation and not necessarily economic growth, but intellectual growth.
Yeah, there's often shit times bred very good things.
Exactly.
Mark Manson's Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, he talks about interviewing, very old, but these people who were young during like the Nazi occupation of like Poland. And he's like, a lot of them talked about saying they're like, it was terrible. They lost like 2/3 of their family members to concentration camps. Yeah. But they also would all say, they're like, my God, if that event didn't make the rest of my life so beautiful, because like once it was over, it was like everything was wonderful. Shit that you never thought of before. Just going to the store, going to get a cup of coffee on a cafe on a sunny street, stuff that you took for granted before, you now were like, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. And I hope that the same could come from coronavirus. Like, imagine going back to the gym. Imagine, just going anywhere and just being like, it's so weird to think about now, like going to the store or something, right? Now it's like, it's like fucking I Am Legend. It's like, you know, but I think something wonderful can come from all of this, even if it's just a shift in perspective. Even if everything returns to exactly how it was. Let's just entertain that idea. Even if it returns to exactly how it was, even that will still be enjoyable because it'll be like, hey, like, look at all this shit. But I think something will come out of it. I think there's too many people that just got
I don't think it can go back to the way it is because no more than you can unsee something you already realized.
Yeah, you can't
unthink an idea.
You can't
it doesn't fucking work that way.
Yeah.
But this time we're collectively, as a fucking globe.
Yeah, not one country. That's what's very unique.
Not one country, not one generation. This is every motherfucker on this place.
Yeah, it's very unique in that aspect. Normally, terrible things can happen, but if it's a different country, we're all like, oh, so sad, thoughts and prayers, like and share, whatever, going back to work. Right. Oh, that country fell to a fucking genocide. Oh, my God. Oh, tsunami in Japan. Oh, thoughts and prayers, likes and shares. Okay, back to work, whatever. Or, the Great War, or, World War II. It's like, oh, that's so bad. But, if you're 12, it's like, oh, that's bad. You're still at school playing kickball, like.
And if you're from like fucking Utah,
Yeah,
how much other than like rationing and maybe having some male people in your family die or get killed in the war, how did it really impact you? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you personally were suffering, whereas now everybody is.
Like 9/11,
child to adult.
Like 9/11 personally, like, did not affect me. So I remember when I go to the airport, like 9/11 for all intents and purposes, like, didn't happen to me. It was like, oh.
Yeah. You're in Atlanta. Like,
I watched you were there.
Yeah,
you were there. It was just like, okay, we went back to school the next day. It was just like, okay, whatever. Yeah. Sure, increased security and, civil liberties eroding. But in terms of, like, our actual, like, us blowing up General Salami in January, like, how did that affect, Bill's deerskinning company in Montana? It didn't. Oh, that was on the news. Okay. This is different in that it's every nation, regardless of your GDP. It's every generation. It's not just that you're 7 and you're too young to fight in the war. You're 90. You're too old to fight in the war. It doesn't matter if you're 7 or 97. You're still not allowed to go outside. So it is universal.
Why aren't I at school anymore?
It is exactly. It is a universal. So you're right. There's never been anything, because the last time there was a pandemic like this, there wasn't the interconnectivity to get the word out for everyone to stop. There was, again, it was telegrams and ballet, like, it was.
Well, the last epidemic that we had was even close to this scale would have been SARS, and we passed that death toll, like the entire death toll of SARS was passed like last week. like
new high score.
SARS is nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's like that meme of like Bane and then the guy in the pink suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Filthy Frank.
SARS is the pink suit guy, and then Bane is COVID.
Yeah. Filthy Frank. I tried to get him on my podcast, but I can't get him to respond.
Is that who that is?
Filthy Frank, yeah. Well, now he's Joji.
Okay.
Now he makes music, but he was Filthy Frank, pink suit guy. It's I've only just discovered him in the last like month.
Yeah.
I didn't know he made the first Harlem Shake video. That was him.
Oh shit.
That was him. He was the first one.
You.
Yeah. But I didn't realize Pink Suit Guy. I found his channel. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I realized like the latest video is like last upload 6 years ago. I was like, oh, Filthy Frank's dead. Like, it's gone. Now he makes Joji music. But I've tried to get him. He's from Japan. I've tried to.
Oh really?
Yeah. I've tried to reach out to him. I've emailed him. Haven't heard back. But yeah, I'm trying to. I'm definitely realizing there's still a very large wall between anyone I can get on. I'm starting to get responses from people. I used to just get ghosted. Now I'm starting to get rejections, which I take as a total win.
Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example. It's like when I was doing my music stuff. Like for years, it was just like my little group of people, right? But then eventually I kept grinding away at that. I kept going to music festivals and working them and like, finding any way I could to just like be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I remember in the last I think I did it for like 5 years total, the music festivals up here. And then like the last 2 years, I started getting people approaching me who knew who I was for some reason. And it was weird. Like it was the fucking weirdest thing. Cause like they weren't in my music genre, like a lot of folk singers and shit like that, just looking for representation or someone who had someone who would fight for them basically.
Yeah.
And they just started coming to me. And unfortunately, at that time, I was like facing mental health problems, and so was my business partner. But like, I learned from that. Like looking back 10 years later, I've learned from that shit. Like it won't be the same way, but I know that I'll still bring that same passion and that same fight and that same drive to it. And eventually, the people will come back. Like because everybody's just looking for someone with decent character who will fucking care about what they're actually doing and not just like, oh, okay, whatever, we'll figure something out and you'll give me some money and like, fuck
we'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll just those people just
that's not what I'm about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I look at people like fucking like I listened to punk all my life, so like no two huge bands, NoFX and Bad Religion. they never had record deals. They never fucking were part of like Sony Music or any of this bullshit. Everything they did themselves. They cut their own records originally. They burned their own discs. They sent merch out. They fucking grinded on the tour, and now they live their lives. I mean, Greg from Bad Religion is fucking wealthy, but that's because he created like a union of trust and like understanding amongst bands, and so bands were happy to go and fucking work for his label, and you know what I mean, and they all brought each other up. Like Fat Mike still just like posts on Instagram of him like walking in fields and like eating grease and he's a fucking like scumbag punk, but he did it, you know what I mean, and he stuck to his guns and he stuck to his character, and he didn't let anybody fucking tell him, oh, well, you know, this makes people uncomfortable. He's like, this is the guy who's got a song about the fact that he calls himself a transvestite, right? He's like, I don't want to be a woman, but sometimes it's nice to wear girls' underwear. Right? He's a whole fucking song about it, right? And no one's gonna shit on this guy because he's just like, yeah, fuck you. Yeah. Like, fuck you.
You gotta own it, yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
If there's no malicious intent, no one can really fucking... People can, oh, you're a fucking transphobe, you're a xenophobe, yeah. But the reality is like, if there's no malicious intent, like if I'm just calling it Panda Watch, you know, it'd be one thing if I had my American flag and every day I was just burning a Chinese flag and just like reading off Chinese atrocities. It's a little different. But if you're just saying Panda Watch, you know,
with no real context, that's the thing.
Well, even now, I'm going. It's from Brian Fantana. And I didn't even mean it as a Chinese virus thing, Panda Watch. But the thing is like now I'm going to use it for that because there's still no malicious intent. It's just Panda Watch. Come out here, you stupid panda. You can't go in there because it will literally rip your face off.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I could totally see memes that are going to be like basically like picture Donald Trump in the meme and be like, China started this, but we'll make it better. Yeah, and like fucking as COVID numbers go off the charts in America, right?
Yeah.
it's number one.
Yeah, we are number one. China number one? I don't think so. Like, China number one. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to. It's where it's like what is it from? It's I think Shrek, that meme. You ever go to fake history porn on Reddit?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Where it's just like it's something like it's from like Shrek, where it's like Lord Farquaad. It's like, some of you will die, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice. And it's like Donald Trump talking about restarting the economy, March 2020. Exactly. Some of you will die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Yeah.
But that is literally like kind of what we're facing right now.
Yeah, it's kind
of when I started reading all that shit about like the hospitals choosing like who to keep alive and who needs to die. I'm like, remember when they thought Obamacare was gonna bring us death panels?
Yeah, I know.
Like, here it is, motherfuckers.
Or not only that, it's the one where it was like, nothing on the shelves, and like we have to like, and there's a national quarantine. Looks like this is a preview of the Bernie administration, and someone's like, except for it's literally happening under the Trump administration. Right. It's like
under full steam capitalism.
Exactly. Death panels, and it's like they're here. They're here.
And it's not even me trying to make a political point. It's literally just a fucking hilarious
it's a hilarious irony that it's like it's right. This is a preview of the Bernie presidency, except it's literally happening right now. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. But dude, I was talking to that doctor the other day, Dr. Robert Bednarz, who's in Poland or Denmark. And one of those places that ain't here, but he's talking about hospitals in Italy, and he's like, they're literally taking older people off respirators because it's like there are younger people that have a better chance of surviving. That we have to, because if they have a better chance of surviving, we got to let them survive versus 85-year-old Bob with heart disease. So he's like, they're literally at a point where they're like, they give them morphine, so they're not in pain. But they're literally just, and the worst part is their family can't come in to say bye, because they'll get infected.
They can't even. They're having problems like.
Well, they're not doing funerals either. because they're just the thing is they're doing no funerals because they're like, we can't get people infected, and there's just not enough. The cemeteries can't hold 1,000 ceremonies a day, so they're just incineration.
This is just a like a hearsay story from one of my coworkers, but his wife works in a nursing home, and this was like supposed to be last week, before we all got laid off, and he was saying that she came back she just had a week off or whatever at home with the kids, came back in 1 week or in 3 days there was like 7 deaths, and usually they do what's called like a butterfly memorial where they like they keep them in the chapel and people will come in, like the other elderly who knew them, and they'll just show their respect. They said they can't even fucking do it. And that the health, I don't even know what they're called, but like the Ontario health minister came in and basically had to put the whole fucking thing on lockdown. And that's the thing, they're not testing these dead bodies, so they can't confirm because we don't have enough kits to test. So all of the numbers about like deaths due to corona or like people actually infected are way fucking higher than anybody's able to report. Like, not to mention, we're all like, we could be walking around for 2 weeks completely infected, spreading that shit everywhere, and it's highly contagious, and nobody's like, everyone's like, no, there's only like 300 people infected. It's like, try like times 10. Like
10,000
at conservatively.
Well, it's like, dude, it's like Chernobyl. We only measured it at 3.6 Roentgen. That's not bad. And it's like, the machine only goes up to 3.6 Roentgen. You know, it's like, well, we only had 500 cases, and it's like, have you noticed that the number is always less than the total number of kits they have? That's because, obviously, you're never going to get 100% of people have them. But you will never have, and it's like, that just means the limiting factor is the test kit. So it's like, we only had 910 cases, and it's like, but you only had 1,000 tests.
Right, and those tests were taken, what, like 14 days, or what is it, 7 to 14 days it takes to complete the test?
It's so like the Homer Simpson.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's like the Homer Simpson.
And it's not like
meme.
They're sending them home. Like, I read this thing about, I think it was Quebec, that like some homeless guy tested positive, and they just put him back on the street. Wonderful. And like, that shit's happening everywhere, though.
Yeah. It's almost like the Homer Simpson meme, like, this is the worst day of my life. This is the worst day of your life so far. Like,
so far.
Yeah. It's like, we've only counted 300 cases so far. Like,
so far.
It could go much higher.
Like, it's not, this isn't like a fuck about. This is shit serious.
Yeah, but there's
like, right now the latest thing was a bunch of boomer snowbirds coming back from Florida in their RVs and like acting like it's a joke, going to Walmart, fucking. I read, if you go to like the Canada subreddit, there's like it's one of the posts near the top, and this guy's talking about.
I got banned from there.
Canada?
I got banned from our Canada. Yeah, the first time I did an episode with you, I just posted it there to try to get views. I was like, hey, I did a podcast with my friend from Canada.
Oh, yeah. No, you can't. Yeah, they're kind of fashy. Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
No, dude, I've gotten banned from like more subreddits than I haven't.
If you want to ever post Canadian shit, post it to On Guard for Thee.
Okay.
Because that's the more like regular Canadians who like. Dude,
I got banned.
You get a mix of left and right.
I got banned.
Did you get banned from On Guard from Thee?
No, not there. No, I did get banned from our Saudi Arabia.
Oh well, that's like fucking easy.
Yeah. Well, it's because I posted my. I posted the link to the episode with the Israeli Special Forces, a Jewish guy. I just posted it there, and I got banned instantly. And I was like, yeah, it was worth it.
Let's be real. You could have just been banned by like, hello from America. And yeah. Like, get out of here.
I was just like, Jewish Special Forces talks about killing terrorists. And it was, all the responses were like in Arabic. It's just, even the ban message was in Arabic. Yeah. Hey, you win some, you lose some. But it's yeah. But it's kind of, there is sort of like a psychedelic gut check from coronavirus, in that it's like everyone, it's just like no fucks. Like Earth does not give a fuck about our society.
Of course not.
It's when people are always like, we're destroying the planet, and it's like, the planet is going to survive with or without humans.
Us. Yeah.
Yeah, we're destroying us. We may be destroying the ozone, but the Earth doesn't need the ozone. The biosphere needs the ozone, but the Earth, Earth is a 26,000 mile circumference rock. It doesn't need it.
Not to mention, like, it's not. Yeah, okay, we cut down a lot of trees and shit, but like, you got to remember that like we're in a sweet spot for like human and nature that currently exists, right? But like, if you go back to like the time of dinosaurs, like the fucking amount of oxygen that was in the atmosphere was much fucking higher.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have been able to.
We would have died from
toxicity.
Shit, yeah,
right?
We would have died from toxicity.
Exactly.
It's like
all the plant, that's why shit was so gigantic.
Yeah,
because there was so much of that. Like,
and it was like, we are in a good environment for us. It's like the Earth does not. The Earth wasn't any less alive 3 billion years ago when it was just a molten rock getting what was it, the Great Bombardment period, where it was just getting hit by like
just getting hammered.
Yeah, and it was the Earth wasn't any less alive. It's not like, oh, that poor thing is a ball of rock. It was a ball of rock, is a ball of rock, is a ball of rock. Now there's some moss that grew on it, and there's a couple puddles that we call oceans.
Right.
But the Earth doesn't
like everything.
Fuck.
Yeah, everything at the bottom of the ocean that doesn't require oxygen, everything that like all that shit will be fine, and then it'll just breed new life again, and then you come back in a million years, and it'll be
none of them. None of this. None of this stuff needs us. We're it's like asterisk. We're not destroying the planet. We're destroying this. We're destroying the parameters of nature and biochemistry that we need. It's like it's like if I tear apart my microphone, I didn't destroy YouTube. I destroyed my channel on YouTube. Like YouTube doesn't need me. Like, you know. When I broke the radio in my car with that punch, I broke my ability to connect to the rest of the radio. I didn't destroy radio in Atlanta. It's that's the difference.
This just in, some kid has punched his radio. We'll be down for the foreseeable future. It's like,
and I now realize none of you are hearing this because we're down. Like, you know, it's when we're destroying the planet, and it's like, hey, don't, you know, get a load of this guy thinking that we're destroying the planet, right? It's like, how important do you think we are? We're destroying the planet. No, you're destroying your little slip that you need. Yeah, man. So the upside of all of this is, so I went to GameStop. What?
Fucking GameStop. When you thought they couldn't get any worse, they're like, "Oh yeah, watch this."
Well, hey, I probably got the last positive experience anyone ever will with GameStop. So, like, 3 weeks ago, I went there and bought a used 360 because.
Okay. In anticipation?
Well, no. This is before it kind of broke out. This is like a month ago. I went and bought a used 360. I didn't know that. Well, I got it because I just needed something. Because when I listen to audio, I can't sit down and read because I cannot pay attention. And even listening to audiobooks, I can only listen for so long before I'm doing something. So what I do is I just mute. I choose a game that I've played a million times, and then I mute it and I listen to my audiobook, and that's literally how I learned. So fuck all those teachers that said you can't learn from video games, because I've probably read 50 books listening to playing.
It puts you in like a meditative state.
Exactly. So. I just play the Grand Theft Auto 5 campaign again and again. And that's how I learned. But so I went there to get that, and I bought a used 360 with a whopping 8 gigs of memory, and it was $40. Bought a controller. All right, whatever. I decided to get the $2 warranty because I was like, it's a used 360 from 2005, and I was like, okay. Literally, it's Halo 1 themed, and it even makes like the Halo noise when you turn it on. It's like, but it's so I went and got it. Whatever, worked for like 6 days. Started to overheat. Was like, and I was like, I'm not really surprised. But then is when I started to like hear about like, okay, now we're restricting air travel, and I was like, oh shit, there's actually a quarantine coming. And I was like, everyone else is like hoarding like toilet paper and like essentials, and I'm like, well, if I'm stuck inside for the next month, 6 months, I was like, I can't have this thing shutting down. So I drove to GameStop. Everyone else is going to Walmart. I'm the only car at GameStop. And I'm like, what's up? And they're like, he literally looked at me. He's like, we haven't had a customer in like 2 days. And I was like, I was like, yeah, this thing like shut down. I mean, I was like, I kind of expected it would. Like, I wasn't expecting it to last this long. Here's the warranty. And he's like, yeah, I got you. And then went back and he like came back out and he's like, so we don't have any other like used 360s. I was like, well, you can give me a new one. I'll pay the difference. He's like, we don't have any 360s. And I was like, fuck. And he's like, we're not going to get them for a while because they have to be shipped and our shipping line is off. And I was like, God damn it. And he was like, well, technically, I guess if you bring in a warranty, they have to like honor it that day. Like it's not your problem if they don't have it. It's like on them to honor it. Only thing they had. Brand new Xbox One X's.
Xbox One?
Xbox One. Not Xbox One, not Xbox One S. Xbox One X. That's the one that's...
Is that like a PS4 Pro, basically?
It's 40 times stronger than an Xbox One S.
Yeah.
It's 40 times... It has 4K gaming.
Nice.
And I have a 4K TV, so I was like... I didn't have to pay a penny. So I got a fucking Xbox One X. So I went to Walmart, bought Just Cause 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, Xbox One X Enhanced. Came back. I've been sitting pretty with a fucking... Dude, they fucking retail for $499. I got one for a $2 warranty.
I went back to like Toronto last weekend to pick up all my shit for my apartment, and I like forgot how many DVDs and Blu-rays and books I had, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. Dude, that's what I downloaded, because I was like, in the off chance like the internet goes offline, I downloaded my entire 95 book Audible library. I downloaded it to my phone, just stored it on my phone's hard drive just in case. So yeah, dude, I got Xbox, which looks... Not plugging GameStop, because that was a fluke. I'm plugging Microsoft. Xbox One X looks amazing.
Yeah,
holy
like,
shit!
It's same with like the PS4 Pro. You're like, Jesus Christ! Like playing racing games. It's like, is this someone in a real car somewhere?
I've heard the racing games are like, if you really want to see the graphics get blown out, it's go to a racing game. Unfortunately, everything's shut down now, but that's what I've heard.
I play like Gran Turismo. That's my like sit there and like listen to a podcast or listen to something and
zone out.
A 50-lap race.
Yeah, zone out. Yeah. But no, flight sims are good for that too. Put on a book and just like.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. It's So I've just been doing like speed runs of Grand Theft Auto 5. Well, I think I do my speed runs with cheats. So I found like because there's really nothing to talk about. That's not an interesting topic. But I just realized, I was like, no one fucking wants to hear about that. But yeah, dude.
Well, I don't know. There's speedrun channels on YouTube, so apparently somebody does.
Well, they do, but they don't do them with cheats. That's the thing. They do.
Okay.
I think so. Like the record without cheats is, I think some guy broke it in like 9 hours.
Jeez.
Right now, I can get about halfway through in 4 hours with cheats. So I'm getting up there. I'm getting quick. I'm getting spicy. Yeah. So speaking of that, it's now that I'm talking about it, it's kind of what I want to go do. So I'm gonna go do that.
Oh, yeah. No worries.
Yeah.
I'll probably go apartment hunting because
we can't go anywhere.
Fucking what?
You can't go anywhere.
Yeah, but eventually I got to. So I got to set shit up, man. Set myself up for success.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, well, shit, that's what I'm doing right now is I'm just doing a podcast for every day of the quarantine. Like, there's no reason not to. There is no reason not to. I cannot complain about my channel not growing. Like, dude, there's never been a time to put content out like this, and there never will be again. Like,
last night I couldn't sleep because I was just, like, ideas were just, like, going through my brain. I didn't pass out till, like, 4:30. And I was just, like, thinking, I was like, I got all these fucking DVDs, and, like, the movies I have are, like, good movies. And I was like, I could just, like, do streams and, like, bullshit on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On Twitch or, like, whatever. Like, I can do anything I want. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's never been a time to fucking push out content than right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Because people need it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so much on Netflix.
Yeah, there's only so much people can handle. So it's not even like it's not even like I'm fooling myself into thinking, oh, my audience is so large, and it's like, no, I'm banking on everyone's gonna get so fucking tired of all the shit they've already looked at. They're finally gonna be like, fuck it, I'll give this podcast a listen. I'll give this piece of shit.
What's this guy got? This
guy was my 5th string podcast. Fuck it, I'll put it on. Tommy's been spamming me with links for a month. I'll put it on. And I'm like, woo.
Yeah.
So hey, man,
like I'm taking my wins. Shit, like shows and stuff all the time on Twitch, and I'm like, you know what? Now's the time to like, okay, hit me with like a fucking DRM or like shit. Like I don't care. Right? Like, you're gonna be around to collect in 6 months.
Yeah. And then like our filmmakers on Reddit. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck I'm subbed there, but someone posted, they're like, it was a meme, and it was like, fuck it, I'll read your script. It's like, all these directors are just like, all right, send it over. I don't give a fuck.
Well, like, one thing I saw recently was, do you remember Reading Rainbow? LeVar Burton?
Yeah.
When we were a kid. So he's setting up, like, he wants to do just, like, a live stream reading of books and stuff. And fucking Neil Gaiman, who, if you've ever seen that show American Gods, he's done that. He's, like, got a shit ton of, like, really good books and stuff like that, and literally on Twitter was just like, I give you blanket permission to read all of my things. I don't give a shit.
Like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna see a lot of that happening out of this. It's like,
apparently
away from such strict, like, because we're fucking humans are storytellers, right? Like, that's what we do. That's how we got here. And why would we stop now?
Yeah. Apparently J.K. Rowling gave, like, teachers blanket permission to read her books. Yeah. Because apparently the problem is, like, doing it online. Like, you're allowed to read books in class. Who the fuck's going to stop you? But it's, I guess the problem comes with, like, online and streaming, because people could record it, and now all of a sudden she's not getting royalties for audiobooks, because that would just be, like, a bootleg audiobook. But apparently she's just like, yeah, hey, teacher, you can read my stuff online to you. Because, you know, you're not even thinking about, like, older kids. They're, like, kindergartners. It's like... They still...
And also, all those fucking kids who will remember that time that...
Exactly.
Like, during the crisis, they got to hear Harry Potter. They're going to go and buy those fucking books after.
Dude,
you know, one day,
I still remember listening to Miss Wright reading me Harry Potter and the Sorcerer... Oh, no, it was called The Philosopher's Stone, because she had the British version... in Arkansas. It was 2 moves before we even got to Georgia. So yeah, I literally remember it. I was like, it was like a rainy day. I remember like sitting like cross-legged on the ground listening to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah. And it sticks with you and you have like a positive memory from it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, fuck yeah, man. So I had my guest from I think on Friday bail, but I'm trying to get someone to fill it. Point being, as much as people are like saying yes to the podcast as ever before, just as many are canceling because a lot of them have kids and the kids aren't in school. So that being said, Rob, I'm probably gonna be hitting you up.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'm here.
Fuck yeah, brother. Fuck yeah, man.
Forming my world from a small room in the middle of nowhere.
That's what literally all of us are doing. So
Yep.
Hopefully in the future we can look back at this episode and be like, hey, remember coronavirus? Hopefully in 20 years we're not like, hey, remember when we used to think that it would be over in a year?
Maybe I'll be in your studio. We'll be like passing a joint back and forth and putting this up in the background.
Yeah. I'm going to have hair like you because no one can go to the barber. Yeah. We're all going to be looking like you, Robert. It's going to be like Wilson. Yeah.
I'm ahead of the curve on this style.
I'm not an animal. I'm just ahead of the curve. Yeah, but
right.
All right, brother. Stay safe and there's nothing else to do. So
do what we can.
Yeah. All right, dude.
All right.
Peace.